You want to make sure that the changes you're making will add value to your home, so you want to focus on the right features. Dawn will show us where to get started.
So I actually started out as an attorney in New York City, and I did that for about 6 years. But when I had my first daughter, realized I wanted to kind of have a little more control over my my schedule, I decided that I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I have a great friend who's a very successful realtor, and she asked me to come move back to Connecticut and be on her team. So I've been doing that now for 3 years. Right now, especially during a pandemic, everybody's home a lot more often. And you've got your kids doing virtual learning, you have parents working at home, you have to work out at home, you don't go to the gym anymore. So there's a lot of reasons right now to be focusing on your home, because it is the #1 place you are most of the time. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to kind of upgrade the home to make it more usable for yourself, but also then think to the future, when I'm going to sell the home, it's really going to add a lot of value. Yeah, so one of the things I would always recommend to people is paint. It's not super expensive, you can do it yourself, and it really just livens a room. If you've got an old drab paint color, you can do something a little more bright and fun. You can also just get rid of some of those older paint colors that really bring you back to the 70s and 80s and just kind of modernize your space, to just make it feel a little more light and bright. Another thing I recommend to people is if you have a spare bedroom that you're not using, turn that into an office. We all are working from home so much more, and it's really nice to have that dedicated office space where you can really focus on your work. Always, 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 kitchens and bathrooms make probably the biggest impact. If you are going to spend money somewhere, that's kind of where we always will tell you that's the best place to do it. But also there's smaller things that you can do as well, like paint, light fixtures, flooring, all of those things can really make a big difference. So what I like to do in my process is right off the bat, the second that we sign the contract and you're thinking about selling your home, that's when I bring my home stager in. She is going to help you figure out exactly what you need to do to prep for home sales. So, some people say, oh, well, we want to clean it out first. Don't do that. Let my stager come in and tell you, hey, this is what you should keep, this is what you should get rid of, because there may be something that you were thinking, you didn't want to keep, that she would say, hey, that looks really great there, let's keep it.
I went to school for interior design and studied it for a while. I loved the field, but it wasn't until I met my brother's neighbor who was a stager, and she kind of mentored me in the whole field, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I started working with her for about 4 to 5 years, and now I took over her business. So yeah, that's how I started. The #1 thing that should never be in a staged home are personal photos and legible items like bills and checks and anything that has personal information on it. And the #1 reason why you want to put furniture in a space is when it's empty, it appears smaller. A buyer has a tough time visualizing their furniture fitting in that space. So it's important to keep the essential pieces that a buyer would have in that room. So these pillows are winter pillows.
Yep.
So a fun way to add color to a space is to switch out some pillows. We can do it seasonally or by color, so we can take those out. So I like to mix it up and do different textures, different pillows to kind of add more color and pattern. It's if your armrest gets banged up from a pet or even just from use, you can run a throw right behind the pillows along that arm where it's damaged, but I want that buyer to feel like they see themselves in the home. So if it's too crazy, they might look at it and think, I don't like this, and can't visualize the space as their own. And if there's any imperfections on the coffee table, you can hide them with the books as well. So you can use a tray on your coffee table, put those books right in that tray. And then I usually put a little plant or a decorative item in the tray. So a lot of houses will still have brass doorknobs and brass throughout the house. Adding brass accessories is a good way to help make that look intentional. On end tables, I like to add lamps, and sometimes I'll even do just a plant like a nice white orchid. You just want to make sure that the flowers are facing outward and they're not looking at the back of the plant.
And as far as plants go, is it okay to have fake plants?
Definitely, yes. I use only fake plants because I don't go back to the houses to water them. And they look real in photos. They're not going to know the difference.
And this is what a home stager can do to transform your home. From Seasons at Home, Joyce O'Geary.
So whether you're thinking about ways that you can update your home to enjoy it yourself or thinking about ways you can add value to sell, give me a call, Dawn Gagliardi with the Corrado Group at Coldwell Banker, 860-810-3237, or dawn@thecorradogroup.com.
Coming up, we'll take you to a famous home in Connecticut that is certainly different from anything you've ever seen before. Stay tuned.
So painting cabinetry is another way that you can update kitchens and bathrooms. What should we think about when doing that?
Again, it's really about the flooring, what you have in the bathroom and in the kitchen, but try to keep it light. White is always a good option, and light grays work, but you want to make sure it goes with and coordinates with your backsplash, your countertops, and your flooring.